I did this job for Nike, an opportunity to work with Parris Goebel, who is an amazing choreographer, dancer, artist, multidisciplinary human being. She choreographed the Super Bowl. She's choreographer to like Rihanna and literally everyone huge. And there was a lot of prep going into the job before I actually got to sort of pitch the idea that I had to Parris. I was fucking nervous to meet her because you never know how it's going to be working with other artists and celebrities. Like Megan Thee Stallion was fucking amazing, by the way. She's a goddess and so kind and so fun to work with. But there are nerves going into jobs like that because you don't know, are they going to be a diva? Are they going to be difficult? Like, are they going to take direction well? Are they going to be collaborative? Like, you never know what you're stepping into. So that can be really scary. So mind you, I had been working internally with Nike and the creative agency for quite some time to just sort of get me into the headspace of what this sort of creative was meant to look like, because it was announcing Parris as their new ambassador for dance. If you think about like Nike and like they represent all these sports, they were finally announcing and acknowledging that dance is a fucking sport. This was going to be a big announcement to the world and a really big deal. We finally get on a Zoom. Now it's got Nike, it's got the creative agency on it, and it's the first time I'm meeting Parris and I'm basically pitching my idea. Of course I was fucking nervous because I hadn't met her before. And she very graciously said, I like your references and I like what your ideas are, but this just feels too glossy for me. Dance is about vulnerability and it's about feeling raw. When I dance, I'm like channeling my ancestors. It's really deep and this is just too polished. Correct. And I was like, whoa, you're fucking right. I didn't know that. I was like, based on what you're saying, I fucking agree. This is not how I would express what you've just said. My head would have spun if I didn't have that horrible experience with the creative director trashing the set and making my whole life like miserable for that 2 weeks, because that whole 2 weeks was me sort of like my battle with myself. I can't make any right decisions. I'm so horrible at this, yada, yada, yada. When I got to that Nike job and Parris like not vibing with this thing that I worked really hard on, it wasn't about me though. I actually just want to tell your message in the best way possible. And if that's how you interpret dance, this is for sure not it. I prepared something that felt very music video-ish, very glossy. It just wasn't capturing the depths and the rawness and like the soul of what dance is about, really.
And your pitch wasn't a reflection on you, and it was just in that perspective of what you thought it should be.
Correct.
And as soon as you were able to see, oh, this is not, I can go back now and reimagine this whole thing.
Now that I was speaking to the source and seeing what she wanted from it, I was like, you're fucking right. I'm not even going to battle you on that. I agree. Let's do that.
And what's that next step look like once you've had that conversation with her?
So what ended up happening was I had to make a whole other pitch right after that, which none of us expected to do that. But I was so delighted to do that because I wanted to arrive at the best idea. And it wasn't about, oh, you fucked up and you did the wrong thing. I actually fucking agree. Like if I heard those words from your mouth before I started this, actually wouldn't have come up with this creative. Now that I know exactly what you want, let's get to that. And I think that really started like a really beautiful working relationship between the two of us because she felt heard and she felt understood, and it created trust between us. And there was just like a newfound working relationship that came out of that because I could just so quickly be like, dude, you're fucking right. Once that happened, I was like, that was the lesson. It's like, fuck your ego, dude. Like, you don't have to be right. You just have to be willing to arrive at the best thing.
Was there also something about the way that she expressed that might have actually helped you have that?
Well, she also wasn't toxic about it, you know? So she wasn't like, fuck your idea. She was like, I see what you're going for. I like that stuff, but it's not the right things for this. I mean, if she was like, you're garbage, goodbye, like I would have been like, okay, I'm gonna get another dog.
Just 50 dogs following you around.
If you see me with more than one dog, please check in on my health. She's like moonlighting as a dog trainer now. It's like really interesting.